Hello dears, and welcome back to the channel Benidorm by Anna. It's time for the latest news update and obviously Benidorm news update. Yesterday instead we've published another video from the loveliest Benidorm beach where we've tried for the first time the floating water park in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea surrounded by jellyfish. I don't know why, but YouTube did not show this video to anyone. They did not even send a notification this video was up, probably because it's not a typical usual video on our channel. If you want to see what it is like and if it's worth spending your money on this type of floating mini water park on the beach of Benidorm, check that video out. It's live already. And today we'll start with the first news, which is about the situation in Benidorm right now. What can you expect if you will be arriving to Benidorm starting from now on? Obviously, it's the second half of August already, which means that only 2 weeks are left officially of the calendar summer. Why it is important? Because all people here in Spain and in a lot of other countries, especially those who have children, obviously will start preparing for a new school year. And 2 weeks are left for the families to be able to enjoy Benidorm. So starting from 1st of September, there's going to be way less families with children here around. And it's not going to be as crowded, as busy, flooded with people, especially the beach areas, as it already was. So it's going to be a small breath of a fresh air for all of us, and as well for a lot of tourists that are still visiting the area. It's not going to be empty from one day to the other. Don't worry. September is still a great time of the year to travel to Benidorm and Costa Blanca and Spain in general. Since Benidorm is a resort here in Costa Blanca that has guests and tourists all the entire year around, trust me, September it will still be super busy. Everything will still be open. All the theme parks, water parks, all the boat trips, all the excursions, everything will still be on, because even though calendar summer will be over, but official summer season is here to stay up until the end of October, 1st of November. So slightly quieter than right now, it definitely will be, but not too much. The second news that I wanted to share with you all is related to what is happening right now. We are almost at 100% capacity in different Benidorm hotels. But what will be happening starting from now on and what the prices are expected to be for the next summer season? What will be happening in 2024? This is a question that a lot of us were asking ourselves, and a lot of tourists, a lot of people were actually wondering in order to know if to pre-book the holidays in advance. I am of those people who have been working in hotel industry for years and years before we started our YouTube channels. And I've been working as a reservations department manager, so I know quite a lot about hotels bookings. It's always the best if you book it in advance, even if you do it the previous year. So for example, right now, book for the year of 2024. Why? First of all, a lot of places, they do have early bird discounts, which means that if you book at least 6 months in advance or more, you get an additional 5 or 10 or even 15, who knows, percent of discount. Apart from that, for longer stays, you get an extra discount in a lot of places. If you are a member or if you register yourself as a member, it's more than probable that you will receive an additional discount from the very first stay with this hotel's chain. And prices are still for this year. So when you book for next year, they will respect the price of this one. So it's quite probable you will get a much cheaper deal if you book pretty much in advance. Not always it is possible, but when it is, do so, because you will be able to save up some good amount of money. Even though we are at 100% capacity right now and the accommodation options cannot go further than that, what can go further are the prices for these accommodation options, both for apartments, apart hotels, for hotels, hotel boutiques, resorts, etc. The prices keep increasing. I must say that a lot of people did actually mention that Benidorm is really expensive. By official statistics, Benidorm and Costa Blanca as a whole region have one of the lowest prices in Spain in terms of how much did they actually grew the last year. So we have really, really nice prices comparing with other regions in Spain, including the islands, by the way, or South Spain. The prices here, however, increased. Even so, they've increased between 10 and 12% the last year. And people might say, well, okay, then hotels are basically taking our money and they're getting way more profit than they used to do. It's actually not true at all. Their costs, their average costs, increased this year by 30%. So imagine that the proportion between the costs, which is 30% up, and the increase of prices is still irregular. The thing is that hotels cannot higher up the prices anymore because it will negatively affect their bookings and people will just start looking elsewhere. So they did a maximum they could, which is about 10-12%, as we mentioned, and that's basically it. What's going to be happening for a next year? Obviously, the inflation is still present in Spain, it's present in a lot of countries. Here, the goal in general in all European zone, the goal is to have 2% inflation, which is not a better thing. It just means that the inflation is growing slower than it used to be. However, the prices are still increasing. The cost of living still increases. The prices for products, for food, for drinks, especially for electricity, for everything, for all the services, it's increasing, which means that hotels will continue probably to higher up their prices, and a lot of other accommodation options will continue to higher up their prices. With apartments, it's a separate deal because a lot of people rent the apartments as a short-term rental for holidays, while they are paying the mortgage for it. A lot of people here, if it's an older apartment, have a variable rate mortgages, which means that every single year their interest rate is being rechecked and reevaluated once again and readjusted to the inflation, to the cost of living of today. And these people are paying around 400, 500 euros more than they were paying previously, which means that if it will continue this way, even apartments, which before was kind of a cheaper option to come to different areas to explore, to travel, will not be as cheap at some point as it used to be. So my advice for all of you guys is to book as much in advance as you can. Trust me, prices will not go lower as it is. Each year prices, it's pure statistics, each year prices for accommodation options for holiday are increasing. So the better deal you're getting, the bigger discount you're getting by booking in advance. Try to check if you can register as hotels chain client and get an additional discount. Check for longer stays for solo travelers and for every kind of discount that they have for older than 55 years or 65. Check all this out and don't do it only on booking.com because sometimes it's a great option, but not always it's a cheaper option. So always check the official website for the hotel. This is what's basically happening. This is what you can expect. And this is our advice for you to get a slightly cheaper holiday here, not only in Spain, but I think it does apply to a lot of other countries. Book in advance if you can. The next news that I wanted to share with you all comes from our loveliest method of transport in our region, which is tram. The tranvia, the train of Benidorm, how you call it, it's all the same thing. We call it tram, and it connects Alicante to Benidorm and Benidorm to Denia. So all of you guys who are coming here who love traveling, who love exploring, you can always use this method to wander around, to explore different towns, villages, cities, and comfortably travel in between. Also checking up all the beautiful gardens, olive gardens, almonds, orange trees, citric fruit trees in general, just to enjoy and see what the life is actually like slightly outside of the crowded and busy touristic resorts here in the area. What's happening right now is that the tram is changing once again. You know already that it's a non-stop work going on the train railway here in the area, especially was going from Benidorm to Denia. We had to use a bus for quite a few years to get to Denia directly. Then we had an issue with the railway because the train was too heavy for it to pass on. And right now there is a brand new work that just has been approved that will probably slightly alter the way of how the tram is functioning between Benidorm and Denia. This will cost around 14.7 million euros, and all this is coming from the European Union Investments Fund, and the work will be done in around 4 years, more or less. The workers will put a double railway. Why? First of all, just in case any emergency happens, in case some of the trains will stop for some reason, and in case of technical issues, in case of issues on the railway, there's going to be a second one that they will be able to use. But as it is, the idea is to use both railways, which will mean that the frequency of these traveling of these trains for travelers will change too, because right now it's only one railway, which means that it's one train that is going back and forth. So once you got it in Benidorm, you're going towards Denia, and from Denia this train stops, they change the direction, and you go directly back to Benidorm. Right now, it's not going to be the case any longer, because after all these works are finished, there's going to be two trains, one going from Benidorm, one from Denia, and they will cross on some point and continue their way. So you won't need to wait on the beginning station while the other train comes, which probably will shorten the frequency in about half of its time, which is great. So every half an hour, maybe even every 20 minutes if we're lucky, there's going to be a train departing from each one of these stations, which is the best news ever. Because one of the negative points of traveling with the tram here for tourists and for locals was that people had to wait around 1 hour for the next train to arrive, and it was not always comfortable, I must say. So this will not close down the railway. At least that's the information that we have so far. You will be able to travel freely from Benidorm to Denia. Benidorm to Alicante is not going to be touched in any case. It is how it is, so that's without any kind of changes. But if you want to travel to Calpe, Altea, Alfaz del Pi, Albir, our touristic village, Moraira, Teulada, all these areas up until Denia, you will be able to do so, because the works will be going parallel and the service will not be affected at all. At least that's the information that we have officially so far. We'll see how it goes from then onwards. Let us know if you've traveled already with train here somewhere around Benidorm's area, how it was, and if it was actually a comfortable travel, and if you could recommend it, the most important thing, to other people who are staying here in the region and have their doubts on if they should take the tram to explore different areas. Don't forget that we also offer on our website, Benidorm by Anna Tours, we offer you different private tours, private cultural tours, private excursions, you can call it how you wish, here in all entire Costa Blanca. So if you don't want to take a train, or if you don't want to risk, we do offer you services and private tours in Denia, in Javia, in Moraira, Finestrat, Guadalest village, including Algar waterfalls or the Dino Park. We have tapas tours in Alicante, or just a discovery tour in Alicante, in Altea, and much, much more. So check our website right here if you want to know slightly more about our private tours that are done only for yourself. No big groups, no big buses, just you, your family members, or your friends. And now let's talk about the weather. What is happening right now? And for that, we need to go to the beach. Let's put our hats on and let's go. The weather obviously is a typical summer weather at the end of August. It's still very, very nice. There are no clouds in the sky, as you can see, only blue skies and a lot of sunshine. Slight wind today, which makes it a tiny bit easier to cope with the high temperatures. And we don't have any kind of heat wave alerts so far. We don't even have a red or yellow alerts as it is, so it's something that is absolutely great and very, very good news for all of us. As for the temperatures, it's going to be around 32, 33 degrees with real feel of 36, but no 40 or 45 that we've had here previous days. And just look at how many people are at the beach on midday. Absolutely insane. The water temperature today is of 29 degrees, which is also ideal. It's warm as a warm milk, incredible to enjoy, but still refreshing during hot summer days. Thank you for accompanying us on today's Benidorm news update, and we'll see each other tomorrow in a new video.